Hey folks, this is Tashira, the founder of Female Football Frenzy, aka F3, and your host for F3 TV. And I'm so excited to be here with you today and to have you join us for our very first F3 TV broadcast. Woo! Cheers to F3. And for those of you who are not familiar with F3, we are Female Football Frenzy. We're a mobilized awareness campaign and multimedia platform that uses the influence and interest of women to impact the charity community. And for purposes of F3, the interests include football, fashion, and philanthropy. And so, with those three components, with those three target areas, we use our influence and our interest again to be a benefactor to causes such as the American Heart Association, Autism Speaks, to name a few. And we're so happy to bring our efforts online. Okay, so for today's show, for the first show for today, for Female Football Frenzy, you're going to see a whole bunch of good things from us every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Female Football Frenzy. So for today, okay, so what it is that I am personally an avid football fan, and I have been since the 90s. I think my father did it to me, and I am an absolute fan of all things fashion, and I love to give back by nature of what I do for a living full time, and just seeing the benefit of giving back to the community. So I figure I am not the only one who is like this. Like, I am the chick that will go to the football game in like 6-inch heels, the best lube bag, and cheer with the best of them. I am your boyfriend's favorite girlfriend's girlfriend. Yeah, because I can sit on the couch and talk trash with the best of them. Absolutely. Football games, Monday night games, Super Bowl, name it, and it's me. I'm there. So I'm like, okay, not only am I not the only one out there who feels this way, but after doing much research and studying and even doing some observations, I found that on a NFL level, that they realize the impact that females and women have overall as buyers of the house. We are actually the decision makers, as much as the men would like to deny the fact. We are the ones that decide where to shop, where to get groceries, and everything in between. And so the NFL has realized that over recent years, over the last 3 years, that 44% of the NFL fan base is female, and 60% of that identify themselves as fans 12 and over. And so the NFL has been able to make strides upon strides, millions and billions of dollars off of the female impact with um, with the brand. So it's like absolutely exciting. Um, 80 million women watched NFL games last year. Roughly 310,000 attended NFL games every single weekend. Now, listen, I don't know if they were all fans, okay? I don't know if some of them were just trying to impress their men and say they had interest, but for whatever reason, they were there. They made up the 310,000, very close to half a million. And I actually think that as of the 2014-2015 season, we're going to cap that number. So listen, here's some stats for you. The NFL, for women at the top of the NFL level, are responsible for this brilliant idea. And of course, they're women. Not that I'm an activist or anything like that, but Rihanna Madden is the NFL's director of apparel, and she, along with some other researchers, found that apparel it's heavily driven to the NFL, female NFL employees, and the market and the helm of the NFL apparel revolution has come on the brinks of finding out that 44% of the fan base is made up of female. So she said she looked at the business trend of the last 7 to 8 years and realized that the move that they made had to be based on women or they would absolutely lose out or be behind the trend. So she, along with the vice president of apparel, Tracy Blazinski, and the NFL vice president of retail strategy, Natara Holloway, and the director of consumer products, Johanna Paretsky, those four dynamic um, group of women are responsible for the campaigns that you see week in and week out targeting the female consumer. And over the last year, now this is statistics from 2012, 2013. So I would say the last 2 years, They have hit $3.2 billion in sales just by redirecting their approach, their marketing approach to include the female consumer. $3.2 billion dollars. And who knows what the percentage or what the income base is now, especially because so many people, so many entities, so many industries, they're realizing the need to incorporate sports and football into their products so that they can be more influential. That including the fashion industry. Hence who we are. We are fashionistas, we're football mavens, and we're philanthropists. And we've seen that to the next level this year, particularly in Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, and in the March edition of Vogue. Not to mention, we have these cool shirts. See here, Female Football Frenzy. We made these shirts. I don't know if you can actually see there. Mine is a little too big, so I had to kind of do the tie the knot thing on the back to make it fit. Okay, we actually had these shirts created a little over a year ago to help raise funds and awareness for Autism Speaks, and they were an absolute hit, so we continue to create them. And I'll tell you later on in the broadcast where you can actually purchase them, and a portion of your proceeds, fixing my hair, will go toward the American Heart Association, which you can see we're a big supporter of on the sign in the backdrop. So back to what I was saying. So people are getting the hint. They need to include sports into their marketing campaigns to target the women who are indeed the consumers of the heads of the household, the consumer head of household. And in this edition of Vogue, not sure if you've had the opportunity to get it, the lovely Rihanna is on this edition of Vogue, and she is absolutely fabulous in her sequin partial lace and sheer top. And she has a funky, boyish cut going on here with her jewelry, which is very light. And of course, she has the boyish jean at the bottom. So if you don't have this edition of Vogue, please do go out and get it because there is much, much influence from the sports industry and inside this Vogue. Now, we won't even talk about the Vogue edition for next month, which consists of Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. We'll get onto that later. So listen, go get this edition of Vogue, and you will see, dun, 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 sports psychology. Absolutely. Sports psychology. So there is a heavy influence in this edition of Vogue, and I'm actually showing you this because I want you to see all of the symmetry and the shapes and the designs of the fashion that is in this particular article. And I had to fold down the page so I wouldn't forget. But I had to show you this, and so you can see here that you have the high sports sock with the what I call Chinese flat foot sandal, but it has the black and white stripe around the neck and the shoulder area, which gives off some influence or some significance or reminder of. It gives me kind of like the Jersey feel, if you would. But the sports psychology, according to Vogue, with winter's fall comes a dynamic mix of athletic-inspired looks that play with bold hues and eccentric embellishments. Game time is what we see here. So as you continue to go through, you'll see these shapes. They're a lot more square. They're a lot more boxy. And one of my faves in here is this look. Not sure if it's a direct off the runway look, but you have see here. So you have the influence of the longer version of what could be called a cheerleader skirt, but it's definitely A-line. And you have the sports sock again with the tank and the T-neck underneath. And it continues on here. Here's somewhat of a jersey-styled long sleeve top, and it's layered. And this is a shopbob.com find. Mason Martin Margiela, I'm sorry, and it has and they partnered it with wool trousers. Okay, so these are just some of the many looks that sports has influenced, and it's becoming an epidemic. It's not something that is isolated at all. It's absolutely becoming an epidemic. And one of the things that we're realizing is that it catches on. It's not anything that like I said, is isolated, but it's definitely catching on. So some of my favorite, well, first of all, before we go there, I have to give a huge shout out to this guy here. Can you see? Or is it too bright? Is it too bright? I think it may be. Let's see. Yeah, you can't see it. Well, his name is Derek Dennis, and he is a Carolina Panther. He is an offensive lineman with the Carolina Panthers, and he was our spokesperson for this year's um, F3 events. And just to back up a little bit so that you understand the F3 event. So annually, we host a fundraiser that is designed to benefit a health and health related organization. And we chose the last few years, we chose to benefit the American Heart Association. And we sought out football players and athletes that would be willing to support us and the cause that we are supporting. And so we're women, we love fashion, we love football, we love giving back to the community. And so we gather every year. And we started off by doing so in a Monday night football game. And we come together in our bags and our most stylish heels and the jewels to match whatever the case may be, or you could throw on your sportswear and just funk it out a little bit. Whatever you decided, we came together, we watched the game, we had a fundraising activities, and at the end of the night, we were able to present the benefiting organization with a contribution which went goes toward their research. And so last year, we were able to secure Derek Dennis, who is now offensive lineman with the Carolina Panthers. Congratulations on that. And he was a huge, huge, huge supporter of ours. And so I just wanted to let you know who he was. So go follow him Instagram and Twitter. And so not only is it not isolated because we have players involved, and we had six NFL players, including and but not limited to players from the Buffalo Bills, the Green Bay Packers, the again Carolina Panthers. We had the New York Jets represented. We also had the Oakland Raiders out and the Cleveland Browns, and we were very, very excited to have them all involved and look forward to partnering with them again this year. So, fashion and football is not isolated, okay? So, not only is Tom Ford, or not only is Vogue, ta-da, featuring them through a sports psychology spread in their March publication. But Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week 2014 included a really awesome sequin cocktail gown, needless cocktail gown that Tom Ford created, and it was actually also influenced by Hip Hop America through the Magna Carta Holy Grail, aka Jay Z's creation. And so it's a sequin dress, and if you haven't seen it, please do go on our Instagram page, and you can do that at Friends Female Football Frenzy, or on our Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at Frenzy03. So it was a red number, a deep red, and it was also a black, and it had the jersey style, long sleeve or three-quarter length sleeve with the number and the stripes that you would generally find on the jersey. And it was very much inspired by football, and very much also inspired by the hip hop industry, the music industry as well. So that's Tom Ford. And then we know Kristen Cavallari, about a year or two ago, came out with her design, her line that is influenced by football as well. And she is the wife of the Chicago Bears quarterback, and so obviously she has a taking or has taken a liking to the sport as well, and she's also the host, the new a host of the new show Fabulista, which I believe airs on E if I'm not mistaken. So, so those are two examples, and then to top it all off, Joan Rivers from uh, Fashion Police that comes on Fridays on E, 10 p.m. She, along with her co-host and Joan Rangers, They actually changed their set over the last month to include um, a sports influence set. And so their ground was the football field, and you saw the helmets that were pink in the background and the footballs, and they featured Deshaun Jackson, which we'll get to shortly, as well as their host a few weeks ago as well. To top it all off, there was a fabulous, fabulous, okay, partnership that took place this year, large in part because the Super Bowl was held in North Jersey, and it was called the New York, New Jersey Super Bowl. This was Super Bowl 48. And so, being in that market, it was only right that the NFL and the NFL Foundation partnered with mainstream brands such as the huge clothing lines like your Bloomingdale's that they partner with, and they created what seemed to be just an absolute incredible line, uh, very avant-garde in design helmet. Okay, and so they reached out to different designers, DVF, Diane von Furstenberg. They reached out to Betsy Johnson. They reached out to several different lines, gave them helmets, and said, put your stamp on it. And so there were 48 different designs that were created by high-end designers, and they represented the brand that they were in part on a helmet. These helmets were auctioned off for charity, but first displayed in the window of the store on the east side of New York. And it was just a fabulous partnership. I absolutely adored it and really, really hope that F3 can get involved with something like that. But that is the passion and the love we have for bringing together multiple entities, bringing together multiple likes and different non-traditional brands, things that wouldn't be considered your everyday brand. Who would think the NFL Foundation might partner with the Bloomingdale's to create a line of high-end helmets to auction them off for charity? I mean, that is a win-win, especially in that New York market. And so we're excited about that. We're excited to partner with those types of organizations, particularly looking at next year's activity for Super Bowl 49, which is tentatively in Arizona. There are some things going on down there where it may be moved, but as of now, we know and we're hearing that it is Arizona. So that's the fashion. We did an introduction of F3. We talked about the influence that women have over the industry, the buying power that we have, and how people are tapping into it. We've talked about how everyone from Vogue to Bloomingdale's have really tapped into the power that fashion has over the sports industry and the sports industry over fashion. We threw out Tom Ford and Kristen Cavallari, two designers that infused the sports arena into their designs for Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week 2014. And I just want to close out today's shows with some of the big things that have been happening over the last 2 months or so, but particularly the last few weeks. So let's talk football, okay? We've talked fashion, we've talked females, we talked a little philanthropy. Let's talk football, okay? A lot has been happening. A lot of things I agree with, a lot of things I don't agree with. Some things we just don't understand, and we're just going to leave it to the people. So first things first, the most recent thing, Deshaun Jackpot Jackson is now a Washington Redskin. He came off the greatest season that he has ever had, okay? A crazy amount of yardage, all right, going on. And the Eagles decided to release him. Now, we knew when there was first talks of releasing that it would not be performance issues. We absolutely knew that without a shadow of a doubt, and that there were some personal things that were going on, preferential treatment, uh, 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 um, stylistic changes, attitude, whatever the case may be. We knew factually that it was not representation of his performance on the field or the lack thereof. So he comes off of a season with 80 receptions and 1,332 yards. Deshaun is 27 years old. He's at the prime of his life, and he is an all-star, all-pro wide receiver. Period. It's not performance. I think we've gotten past that. We absolutely know it's personal. Okay, and the front office there in the Philadelphia sports period a lot of times just don't make sense to me. Perhaps because I choose and we choose as an organization not to get into the politics of it all, but to stick with the facts and try to stick with the football, the game, which is what we love. But I must admit there are times where we really, really, really question the decision making in the sports offices in Philadelphia, particularly with the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is one of them. NJ.com released an extensive article about a week or two ago regarding Deshaun's involvement with gang activity. One thing I noticed about that article is that it is very ambiguous when it comes to the resources or the sources of information. And I know a lot of times people want to remain anonymous for the fact of the type of information they're releasing. But if you have been bold enough and just felt so compelled to release that information, why not release your name too? For fear, if there's that much of a fear that he's part of some sort of gang related activity, then what, I understand where they will be coming from, but it is our understanding that the team was aware that Deshaun has friends who are indeed involved with gang, and he has not been quiet about that. He has not been dismissive about it. He's admitted to it. The boy grew up in South Central Los Angeles, where it is a known fact that gangs, Bloods, and Crips are prevalent out there. They are absolutely prevalent, and they didn't start with when Deshaun Jackson became a Philadelphia Eagle. I would much rather a story have been released. I'm just a girl that feels like if you don't want me, just say you don't want me. Don't suddenly create these issues or problems or a facade that suddenly these things are problematic when you knew about them well in advance. If it's my attitude, tell me it's my attitude. If you think it's best for the team, just say it's best for the team. But why is it best for the team? I'm 27 years old. I just came off of one of the best seasons I've ever had. I'm at the prime of my life. We're under a new regime, which that I think is key, the new regime, and they just want a whole different look over there in Philadelphia. But you know, all the best to Deshaun. I believe that with a healthy quarterback in Washington, with some of the seasoned players that they have there, uh, Deshaun is getting older, and I believe he's learning, he's getting wiser. I believe it was necessary for him as well to move on for another team because truth of the matter is you don't want to be where you're not wanted at the end of the day. Whether it's the players that don't want you there, the front office, the coaching staff, you don't want to be where you're not wanted because the morale around your playing can actually bring down your performance. It is absolutely true. It is 100% true. And so far, it looks like from RG3 right on down to some of the seasoned players have been very welcoming of Deshaun and being very optimistic about it. Technically, on the field, we know his presence is going to spread the defense out. It will definitely tire them out. It would require a safety over the top in the middle. You cannot leave him open. He runs an average of 34 plus yards after the catch for a touchdown on average. And so Deshaun has the ability to do much, to do wonders for the offense over in Washington, and adding obviously some speed to him as well, and helping RG3 not to have to run the ball as much as he normally would because he has that option down in that open field. So kudos to you. Less than a week later, you were on a team. We see that you're in the same division. You play the Eagles twice a year. Win or lose, when you play, do your best. And we just say, Deshaun, don't give anybody a reason to talk. Period. I say go out and win the game. I say go out and be the best that you can be, win or lose, top performance, put the numbers out there and keep it moving. But most of all, stay on your game, stay on top, and much best for you, much success for you. Also, sticking with the Eagles really quickly, we know that Michael Vick is now a New York Jet. He has a 1 year contract worth $5 million, and they are thinking about acquiring Sanchez. I don't think it's a good look. You release Deshaun, you bring on Mark. Hey, back to that front office decision. It's not my money. Do what you need to do. They also acquired Sproles, Darren Sproles, which is I'd love to see him run. His legs are like this. They're like this, but he's very, very quick and a great runner. And so that'll give a good alternative for LaShawn McCoy, Mr. Brown over there. and now they have Sproles. So that there's that with the Eagles. We also have some other changes. We know that the Vikings signed a really big deal. We've had some deaths in the NFL. The Bills founder passed away recently. We send our condolences out to their family as well. So there's a lot going on. NFL draft begins May 8th. It goes through May 10th. We are looking to be in the house, on the grounds, covering that event for you, which is something that we are looking to do very, very soon, to have some live coverage and just broadcast to all of our folks and our fans live. All right. So listen, that's F3 TV. We're going to keep it short and sweet. More football talk next Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Female Football Frenzy. We're now online. Yay! F3 TV every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, talking all things football, fashion, and philanthropy from a female's perspective. We are also launching our blog. FemaleFootballFrenzy.com is coming to you very, very soon. We will have rebroadcast posted, some interviews that we'll be doing during the week posted on our blog as well. We hope you join our community. Comment, love us, like us. We welcome it all and are so very happy to do this. Follow us on Twitter at Frenzy03. That's Frenzy03. Follow us on Instagram at Female Football Frenzy. And you can email us also at femalefootballfrenzy@gmail.com. We are forging some really great partnerships across the country. We are looking to mobilize F3 into different states across the country to benefit different chapters of the American Heart Association, and having a large presence at Super Bowl 49 in 2015. Thank you so, so much for joining us. Again, my name is Tashira. I am the founder of Female Football Frenzy and your host of F3 TV. And we hope you join us next week. Toodles. Chuck up the three, the three, the three, the three, F3. Bye.